Alrighty, so what we have here is the box to my first 4-stroke kit for the bike. I've decided that the engine has to come off the Mark IV bike. It's well overdue for a rebuild, and in the meantime I thought we'll give the 4-stroke engine a go and we'll stick that on the Mark IV bike. Yeah, so this is my first 4-stroke kit, so I'm a little bit excited to see what it's like inside the box. Snippy, snippy, snippy. Alrighty, so all I've done is snip that, so this is the first time I'm getting stuck into here. Well, it looks fairly familiar so far with the boxes inside the boxes. Ugh, smells funny. Oh, there it is. Let's get rid of all that. Can I get it out with one hand? It's not very well packaged. I'll just give me a moment. It does smell a little bit like fuel and oil, so hopefully they've given it a bit of a test run. It's just jamming it back on there for now. I've got spare hose with the other kit anyway. Alright, so obviously that's carb, that's the exhaust plate there. It's an unusual looking, is it a heat shield or something, I guess? But it's not what I would have expected. Obviously there's the pull start. We won't go pulling on that because I don't know what the state of it is inside, and I've got no oil in it yet. I don't want to trust. It really is like it's leaked oil somewhere. And that hose has come straight off anyway, which is possibly a return line. I'll have to look it up. But there's the clutch there, which will need a little bit of assembly, I'm sure. Yep. This engine has been fired in the past. There is a bit of oily residue. It's what I'd seen leaking over the bag, and as you can see here down the bottom of the foam, it's sort of leaked out there. Okay, the ignition wires, obviously that's for the kill switch. Let's just pop this back down here for now. Right, now I did just give the cord a little bit of a pull. It has got good compression. It's a bit chunkier than the 2-stroke. The last thing I need is for that to be leaking fuel everywhere. Alrighty, so this is standard run-of-the-mill exhaust. It's similar to what you get on the 2-strokes, however, there's a different profile to the exhaust there. Obviously that's got to do with fitment. Now this is disgusting looking at here. This is very, very typical of these cheap kits. Now I will have to get in there with the Dremel and just try and open that up a bit, because that is downright filthy. But I'm old hand at that by now. I want to get in there and clean all that up, because an open port is a good port. all in all, that's pretty much all I would need, because I don't need to put a rag joint on. I don't need to mount the fuel tank, anything like that, because of the fact that the Mark IV bike is ready to go. Even the kill switch. Okay, that's quality. Looking at the box there, let me be very careful here. Alright. Now, on the Mark IV bike, I'd extended the kill switch wires anyway, so I should be able to recycle those. Accelerator cable. It doesn't look to be any different, but I may be able to reuse the one off the two, but we'll have to just wait and see. Looking at the state of this box, this is how it came. So it's very, very, very poorly packaged, I'm afraid. Alright, so let's just get all this stuff out. Let's have a look at what we've got in here. So that looks to me like a fairly standard 44 tooth sprocket. I'm going to leave the 36 tooth I've got on the wheel of the Mark IV. Right, now this is where I'm going to run into issues with this build. This is like the wider crank that you need to clear the engine, which we'll cross that bridge when I come to it. That's going to be a pain in the backside, so hopefully that doesn't cause me any issues. Right, what else have we got in here? That is our mounting plate. That is heavy. That is solid. Basically, there's nothing to it really. I mean, you just slide these plates up against the engine and bolt it down from underneath. No reason why that shouldn't fit the frame of my bike fairly well. Alright, what are we up to? That just looks like a normal chain to me. Again, I may or may not be able to reuse the chain on from the two-stroke. It'll be a different length. I think this is where I'm most nervous about, is changing these cranks over, because it's not a job I've ever done before. Let's have a look at these handles. Yep, same old crappy plastic handles. Again, that's something I won't have to reuse. I won't have to use new. Same old exhaust bracket, which is pretty crap, to be honest. Rightio, here is the business end. Here's our little transmission. I say little, damn thing's massive. Oh, wowee. Here's a little flywheel in there. Crappy little tensioner pulley. I'll definitely be able to reuse the one that's on the Mark IV. Standard fuel tank. Again, won't be using that because I've got 6 litres of fuel tank currently on the Mark IV. This bad boy, I'm glad they included that. That's supposed to be for removing the crank. So we'll see how we go with that. Instruction manual. I'm glad it came with that because there's not a lot out there on it. Again, really, really poorly packaged product. That would be engine mounting hardware. Look, they seem to be fairly solid studs. Now, this is the way it came. Like, it's just so poorly packaged. It's a wonder it's in one piece. So I've done away with all the excess packaging that I don't need. Alright, chain guard. Completely bent out of shape and broken. Like, that's pathetic. That's really, really bad. The good news is that's pretty much what you get with the two-stroke kits anyway, and I've got quite a few of these lying around now. That's... oh, if this was my first ever kit, I'd be really annoyed about that. The reality is, solid pair of pliers, you'll be able to bend that out, but I'm not going to bother. That's scrap metal. That's pathetic. The instruction manual has got nothing to do with this engine, basically. It's got no instructions on how to properly fix the transmission, the alignment of the tubes, anything. It's basically just don't smoke while refueling. Be careful, the engine is hot. So I'm going to have to hit the YouTubes and do some research, I think, because I just don't know what I'm doing yet. Well, the port looks nice and clean and tidy at least. But what's interesting is that there's no actual gasket. It didn't come with a gasket. It came with this little metal heat shield, which is supposed to seal it up somehow. So I suspect that's something I'll have to source myself at a later date. I don't have any spares, even though it's the same exhaust port size as the two-stroke. I don't have any spare gaskets at the moment.